So some of we said when we moved into the break, you guys have had some explosive national stories, and I hat tip to you because I remember probably when I was still at the Ethan Allen Institute, so it's got to be 3-4 years ago now. We did an event with Dana Perino, who's Fox News correspondent these days. She used to be George W. Bush's press secretary for a while. But we did an event with her, Zoom thing for donors or whatnot, that partnered with Mass Fiscal Alliance over in Massachusetts to put this on. And my question to her was, how can we get people to pay attention nationally to stories that are happening in Vermont? Because I tried, this is where Bernie Sanders is from. The guy was almost president of the United States. A lot of his policies are now what are, behind, they're part of the Democratic Party platform. This is ground zero. Why aren't you guys here doing this stuff? And she, send us press releases, and, it really wasn't helpful. And, I did the same thing. I had a trip down to Washington, D.C. at one point. This was much longer ago when Bernie was running for president, or he had just lost the nomination to Hillary Clinton. I can't remember which it was. And I was at an event, and Fred Barnes, I think Fred might have passed away.
I think so.
But it was he and a bunch of other Washington, D.C. heavy hitter reporters. He's the one that was nodding when I was speaking, which is why I remember him. But I gave the same pitch. Hey, cover Vermont, because this is where a lot of the Petri dish stuff is happening. These are where the stories come from that you're covering. Cover them while they're, in the bud, as they say. But I could never get any traction. But you guys right now have seemed to have cracked that nut to some degree, and thank God for it. And I'll say thank God for it because Vermont media is so important, and I've dedicated to covering Vermont stories and trying to create a broader audience. But I remember there was something that I was pushing. That's back when I was with the Ethan Allen Institute. There's a story I was pushing on our blog and our website, blah blah blah, and getting a little response from the usual suspects, but Fox News picked up the story. And all of a sudden, it was all over Facebook, it was all over Twitter with, conservatives, right-wing folks, Republicans. Have you seen this story? I'm like, yeah.
Wrote it.
I've been writing about this story for the past month and a half, but the second Fox News picks it up, that's what people are really paying attention to. I mean, I want to get them to pay more attention to Behind the Lines, Rob Roper on Vermont politics, and Vermont Daily Chronicle on the stories that you guys are posting. But if we can get those stories out, it has a local effect and not just a national effect. So tell me a little bit about this Becca Balance story and how you guys caught that and how it caught fire and really brought her. She made an apology, kind of the apology that they never accept from the right, which was if I offended anybody.
Right. Well, that's I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry that you were offended. Basically, I mean, to answer that question though, Rob, I think why it's happened for us is really this critical mass movement. I think it is because of people like you. Another, Rob Williams, shout him out again. I mean, he was doing VermontIndependent.org for a number of years, and they were covering the craziness here in the Green Mountain State. And I think that's, I'll just say this, I was talking with a colleague at the State House a few weeks back up in the press gallery, and we were kind of talking about scoops and how fun it is to get a scoop, and it is a lot of fun to get a scoop. When you have the information, it's obviously not a tangible thing, but it's like you're holding it and nobody else knows about it, and that it's going to be kind of a really big story. That's really exciting. And I was talking with him about it and just expressing that, and he was like, information just moves so quickly around this building. I can't seem to, I get scoops, but it just seems like everybody already kind of knows about it before everything happens. And I was just saying to him, well, it's a lot where I pick up a lot of my stuff is online on X, right?